Hello everyone, I know it has been a really long time. Welcome back to HHN Cultist. If for those of you that don't know me, I'm just a really big horror nerd that loves anything that has to do with makeup, horror things, haunts, and Halloween Horror Nights here in Universal Orlando. I have been going to Halloween Horror Nights ever since 2009, so a really long time, have not missed a year yet. So yeah, this is my channel where now it is time for the intro. So it is that time of year again where it is HHN at home, which was all started in 2020 when Halloween Horror Nights was canceled. So the horror community in Twitter decided to put together an event called HHN at home, which was primarily started by Horror Night Nightmares, who is now doing this yearly, where we are supporting the Trevor Project, which is basically preventing suicide in the LGBTQ youth, and just raising money for that kind of awareness. So we are here all month long in June, just celebrating love and also anything that has to do with spooky and horror stuff. So if this is up your alley, welcome, and feel free to jump on Twitter under HHN at home hashtag, and you get to participate in all the great festivities, giveaways, and all other content that other content creators there have to offer. So I am here today, like many years ago, where I did my makeup talking about the speculation map back for, I think, for Halloween Horror Nights 31, if I'm not mistaken. And now I'm going to be doing it for, Horror Night Nightmare Speculation Map version 2. Mind you, this is all speculation, all for the fun of it, and it's not actually official, but it is fun to think about and speculate, especially to know the very interesting signs that are across the entire spec map. I will also be doing my makeup, talking about it, and just, winging it. I'm going to make it a very scary rainbow-esque monster. So yeah, it's going to be a fun time. So right now, let's talk about the tried and true, which is basically the announcement of Chucky towards the end of Halloween Horror Nights 31. And that is the only house that we got confirmed for this year's Halloween Horror Nights 32. They have been keeping a lot of things on the hush-hush. So that's the only thing that is true on the spec map, while other 9 houses are still up in the air, and it is now June, which is usually not usual for them. So when we are walking inside the park in Halloween Horror Nights, we're going to be coming across the first house, which is Demon Slayer. I have mixed feelings about this. I'm excited, but at the same time I'm like a little confused, because it's just, for me, I think it's a good idea because Demon Slayer is very horror-esque, and it does have some elements, but at the same time it can be gory too. But imagine like seeing these characters kind of like in cosplay, or these characters in cosplay is a little bit I don't know if I could take it seriously. At the same time, I still get scared at the houses. If you guys haven't experienced the houses with me, I still get scared regardless. So if they do a good job, I feel like it'll work. I feel like this is more of an idea for their Universal in Japan, because they already have like an attraction there for Demon Slayer, so maybe it can go along the sides of that. But who knows? I am open to the idea, and I'm not completely hating it. So I think it would be an interesting way to like bring other, with like different diversity, especially that they're trying to bring in more pop culture. So the next one that is behind Demon Slayer is The Exorcist. So I don't hate it, because I did love the house back in 2016 when they did it during Chance's year, because we all sent for Chance and whatnot. But I don't know if it's going to be based off of the television series, which I don't think is all that scary, honestly, since the houses in 2016 was kind of solid. I didn't actually hate it. The only thing that I hope not to see is to see a lot more animatronics for Universal Orlando rather than the one in Hollywood, which, I mean, they had a little bit more, but I feel like we had more of the ones on the beds that were not scare actors. There was one girl like in 2016 that did a phenomenal job. I'm surprised that, I hope that she got a lot of back therapy, because that seems like a lot. So having an Exorcist house for this year, I feel like it will work. There was a movie that was released of like Exorcist wise. I think the Pope's Exorcist. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I think it would be. I would like it. You know, more possession houses. Yay! This yellow looks like someone puked on the side of my eye, or I have an eye infection. Either or. The next house is going to be. It looks like this symbol right here, and it reminds me a little bit of the spirit of the coven from last year, but I don't know if it's gonna be another witchy house. It doesn't really have a name, because now this year the speculation is all based off of pictures rather than names. But I don't know how I feel about another witch house. I mean, like last year's Spirit of the Coven, like the I don't hate the house, don't get me wrong, speakeasies, and the design was so like pretty, but at the same time it's just kind of like I didn't get the story. I just feel like all the witches were just trying to get the guests to become witches brew, and then or you go into the little cult underneath the speakeasy, and they're just doing rituals. But what's the point of the witch's brew if that's all like they're doing? Or like, what's the purpose of the witch's brew? Which I feel like was lost in translation. But to have another witch house, and if it's based off of Salem witch trials, hey, I'm not against it. Something that goes along the houses of like Winter's Nights, where it's like a lot of folklore. But I mean, even though that's another speculation that they were talking about this year, was that this year was going to be a lot about cryptids. So I don't know how this would exactly tie in, but we'll see whenever we get to our third speculation map. Maybe we'll get a little bit more hints. The next one, I feel it's no secret. It has a castle and a dragon. Dungeons and Dragons, henceforth Stranger Things 4. So I definitely think Netflix is not going to fuck up this time, and they are going to renew their contract with Universal to be able to get that house out and done. I mean, they did do it before, where they were able to do season 2. I mean, season 2 and 3 were very crammed into the second year in 2019, which I feel like it felt really rushed, and also they reserved that really big room for the really big flyer. I think it's called the Mind Flare. Was it Mind Flare? Sorry, I'm asking my husband. Hello. Yeah, I think it's the Mind Flare. I could be wrong. Maybe it's the one in the sky. I totally forget. So I don't think it's going to be anything different other than Stranger Things 4, because the picture kind of says it all. But I could be wrong. They could be going towards another route of medievals and dragons tearing humans apart. Who knows? The next one is the top secret house, and I have a feeling that it is going to be Blumhouse, even though it's not much of a surprise in a way. But I feel like because they have already teased a lot of Megan and being able to, you know, they had the interaction between Chucky and Megan on Twitter. I feel like this is going to be one of the top secret ones. But that area of Universal Orlando usually has a history of putting all the Blumhouse houses there, besides the one that's closest to the old Fear Factor stage show, where usually Nightmare Fuel is hosted. But I feel like they have a lot more room to play in there, and they have been able to collab a lot of the stories very well in the Fast and Furious building. So I think it's going to be more along the lines of Blumhouse. I just don't know what other Blumhouse movie would be there besides Megan. I feel like they will be having more releases of movies to be able to prep their guests. Collaboration that they will be having with Blumhouse for that area of the park. So the next house we will be going to is right next to the Fear Factor stage, where Nightmare Fuel will be held at. So, you know, we can have, you know, the Viking with the kilt, and also all of the leather and eye candy you can imagine, but, you know, especially the very talented aerialists and performers that are in that show. I'm super excited to hear the traditional "Go Tatiana!" especially like the really cool songs they always choose every year. I just hope that they change up the playlist when they actually do Nightmare Fuel again, because they changed it a little bit last year, but not much from the debut year. So the next house is going to be a circus tent. This can indicate anything. The return of a certain clown that, they keep abusing. But, I have nothing against Jack. Just hopefully we get something a little bit different. But something along the lines of icons, or maybe another circus 3D house like they did with Chance's year. We don't know. It might be an original that Universal is coming up with. Something very similar to maybe Carnival Graveyard. So next up we have the devil emoji. And when I see this picture, it just comes to mind how they still haven't done The Conjuring. The Conjuring has been in the talks for a really long time, but due to contract purposes, I'm sure that it has fallen through over and over. And maybe this time we'll get it this year. So maybe we'll actually finally get the Conjuring house that we finally deserve. Does anybody remember the Resident Evil Raccoon City house? I'm glad you guys remember, because I don't. I actually couldn't get to experience the house because this is when I was doing one-nighters for Halloween Horror Nights rather than doing it for multiple nights. When someone converted me to actually becoming a frequent fear pass holder, I couldn't experience Resident Evil Raccoon City, and I wish I did. But now we are going to be talking about The Last of Us. It is speculated it is either going to be a combination of maybe the TV show with the video game, but a lot of us are mostly speculating based on the HBO Max live action The Last of Us. So I heard it was really good. I still haven't watched it, but if we get The Last of Us, I know that it's going to be a lot of people that are really big fans. We want to see the clickers. We want to see all those really gnarly zombies that are in this universe of just pure Zombieland goodness. So I'm actually very excited to see if we actually get it, and if we do, it's going to be a fun, awesome ride of just terror of zombies. Oh yeah, they're liking my little rainbow monster. I think she looks pretty. I love the fact that Universal Orlando is staying true to their horror roots since they created the Universal Monsters universe, especially with the monster, the bride, Dracula, the creature, and all those lovely monsters that we know today. So we are talking about the very last house that is in the cycle, if you really go that way. We all know the rule is to go from front to back, but don't tell everybody that. Sorry. But either way, I think we're going to get Phantom. I heard a lot about the Phantom. So we're either going to get one of those for the Universal Monsters Paris house. So I'm excited because I feel like they've been going down each and every monster throughout all the years of Universal monsters world in general. So I think it's going to be super cool that we're just going to get a house almost based on every creature out there so far. Because so far we had the in general Universal Monsters, then we had the Bride of Frankenstein Lives, and we were spoiled because we got it twice. And then the next one was the Universal Monsters Collide, which featured Wolfman, Dracula, and the Mummy, and some kind of featuring in Bride of Frankenstein Lives of the creature. We're still waiting for the creature house. Still waiting. So now that we're done talking about the lovely houses, now we have to talk about the scare zones. So there's 5 scare zones. 3 of them are unknown. That's how much Universal is keeping things under wraps. We literally know nothing of this year. I don't know what their deal is, but you know what? If they want to keep it a surprise, I'm not completely against it. So now we are going to talk about the 2 other scare zones that we do know of, and one of them is based on The Last of Us, as I discussed during the house of The Last of Us. We were discussing how they haven't done a video game IP in a really long time. Since then, it's been a really long time actually, so the fact that if they get a scare zone and the house, that's going to be heaven for the people who are really hardcore fans about this game. So it's going to be located in the New York area. So they will have a lot of room to actually work around in that part of the park. So I feel like it might tie in very well for the amount of effort that they're trying to do. Just basically very similar to what they did with Zombieland a couple of years ago. And lastly, we're going to be talking about holidays. I want to say so bad that this is going to be the like HR Blood and Guts holidays all over again, but I don't think they're going to go that route because I feel like they already milked out the concept of that so much. I feel like they're just going to go another route with holidays, as in like the original scare zone that they will have, kind of very similar to what they did with like the Vikings Undead and the Graveyard one, Deadly Unrest. That's what it was. So I feel like that's the route that they might go more towards the original rather than bringing back HR Blood and Guts. But if they do, I would be so happy because I love HR Blood and Guts. Then the very, very last attraction for HHN is Nightmare Fuel. I already discussed Nightmare Fuel. It is literally eye candy and beautiful aerials and performers and wonderful people in leather and latex. We all love it so much. So I really hope that Nightmare Fuel comes back, but I feel like they just need to change up their music options just a little bit. And of course, we're just gonna have the like Laguna show that we had. I know that the last one that we had last year was a very limited run, and they stopped running it after the hurricane. But I hope that this is going to be something that they're actually proud of and that will stick to for the rest of the run. That was the entire spiel of the speculation map version 2. I hope you guys liked the whole process of me putting on this makeup. It is kind of a jumpy because I know that this is going to take a lot to put together while talking, so I wanted to like finish up each step as I'm talking about each and every one of the houses or the attractions that will be at Halloween Horror Nights. So now for the giveaway, I'm giving up to 4 eyeshadow palettes, one each week, for the rest of HHN at home. For this one, you have to create a makeup look using a colorful palette, just like the one I did for myself in this video, or you can create a piece of art using a whole bunch of colors. Also retweet, like, make sure that you send me a receipt of your Trevor Project donation. And yeah, so I will be giving away a Revolution Flawless Forever palette. It is brand new in the packaging, has a whole bunch of cool, cute little colors that you can use, and I'll be giving this away and announcing the winner on June 8th. So make sure, if you guys want this lovely palette, to submit your entries before June 8th. So yeah, so I hope you guys like this video. Make sure that you are following me on HHN Cultist on Twitter, where you can get all the updates for HHN, horror, haunts, and anything that I might put up makeup wise, because I like creating makeup. I haven't done it in a while, but I'm trying to get back into it. And also make sure that you subscribe on my YouTube channel for any video that I may be throwing out very soon, especially during the HHN at home run. Well, I hope you guys see you in the fog and have a great day. Bye.